What's up, everyone? I am Scott Lowe. I am joined by the gorgeous, the talented Mitch Dyer.
Oh.
And we just got finished playing with the Xbox One controller,
Yes.
which is, of course, kind of a drastic, you could say drastic departure from...
It's a jarring thing to see, right? Like you see it and you know something's different, but you can't quite put your finger on it.
You see the inspiration from, the Xbox 360 controller.
Sure, the layout's identical.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, but you see a lot of like the same iconography and all that. But obviously this was a rare opportunity to get up close and personal.
We caressed it.
Yeah, we didn't quite get gameplay experiences,
no,
but we did get
the next best thing, I guess.
Yeah, which is just sort of like forced
Tech
feedback.
demos.
Yeah,
But it's really cool tech demos.
Yeah, so I mean the big change with this controller, they say there's over 40 new enhancements to this controller. Obviously just the design tweaks, but also this new feature called impulse triggers, which actually puts force, like kind of rumble feedback in the triggers themselves, if you can believe it. Like when I heard about it at the conference, I was like, what are they talking about? And this was an opportunity to see it up close. And basically what it is like individual tiny little motors that are inside the triggers themselves, which produce like sensation of like feedback when you're shooting a gun.
Yeah,
like
so we got some really interesting demos where like the gun feedback was actually like the most anticlimactic of them, right?
Yeah.
Like it fires a gun, it's just like you feel
like a laser gun.
A little bump in the finger thing. But when like a car roars to life, or a helicopter takes off, or when you're skidding to a stop with your car, you could feel the hitching of the brakes, or just the engine screaming, and you could just feel the rumble. It added like another level of shake to it.
Yeah.
I thought it felt really great.
One of the coolest things to me was like the transition. So like in one of the demos when a car's starting up, like the rumble starts in the palms of your hand, because there's also the same two models or motors rather in the handles of the controller, which then kind of like power up to kind of culminate in the trigger. So like you get this kind of like sweeping sensation. But then there's all sorts of other practical applications, because obviously this is very much a tech demo. Like imagine something like Call of Duty, like where the different types of guns have different sort of feedback between the 4 sets of motors, and then stuff like directional, like so you get a sense of like where gunfire is coming from, if it's like the right rear motor,
right?
Or
rather
like
than seeing like a red glaring thing on the right side of the screen, you would just feel it. You would just know, because your finger's always on the trigger.
Yeah.
If you're not, if it's not, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
That's not how you do Xbox.
And one of the like most interesting things was like the level of like kind of like the progression of them, and I thought was most interesting. But then there's other subtle changes. Obviously the start and back button are gone. Now they have kind of like a little picture-in-picture mode.
Yeah, replaced by things that Microsoft will not tell us about.
Yeah, they wouldn't clarify what exactly they did, but my best guess is like a contextual menu, the multitasking view, and then actually the home button on the top, the dashboard, is actually a button.
Yeah.
We were unclear about that before, but now we've seen it up close.
That's how it effectively works the same way it does now.
Yeah.
Where you get a pop-up and you hit your dashboard button, it pops open a menu. So if you get a Skype call, press that button, boom, just opens it up.
Yeah. And so there's like other stuff, like the shoulder buttons are wider and thicker.
I don't
and they
like them.
No?
No.
Oh,
so
wow.
they have this, that's the only thing about this controller I don't like. I love that the battery pack in the middle is gone. I love that I can just charge it with USB. But what I can't stand is, and I'm sure I'll adapt, but the bumpers are much wider than usual. They have like an upward angular feel to them. They don't have that like nice tiny little hump feel.
The differentiation is definitely a noticeable thing. But then like there's the triggers are actually curved, so you have like more of like kind of sweeping feeling of the kind of the sense of the triggers rather than just like a hard point.
Yeah, they kind of, instead of dipping way down, they cut up a little bit. And I feel they have like a nice sense of magnetism to them.
Yeah, and then obviously I think people are going to be really psyched about the new D-pad, which is a really strong click, like mechanical click to it. It's a 4-way. It's not like the disc, which is a big pain for a lot of people.
It's even better than the improved Xbox 360 version, where you like twist it and it's like less terrible now. Now this is like legit good.
And as you mentioned, the battery pack has changed. It's now flat. It's kind of flush with the back panel. It is still removable, which again we didn't really know originally, but now we've gotten further clarification. It is a removable pack, so you can swap them out. And then the other thing was like this curious port, which they wouldn't talk about too much, is the data port on the bottom.
For all sorts of interesting features.
Yeah, interesting accessories and whatnot. So they'll be talking more about that at E3. And so far, just overall impression of the controller. Lay it on me, Mitch.
I dig it, except for the bumpers, which I'll adapt to, I guess. But I like it a lot. It's when you see it for the first time. I was personally like, I don't know how I feel about this. It's weird, it's different, it's scary, but I like it. I like the way it feels a lot.
Yeah.
How about you?
I like it a lot as well. I mean, there's a few minor qualms, like you said, but for all of my detailed analysis, well, our detailed analysis,
mostly his.
Head over to IGN.com for all of your Xbox One coverage.